Welcome back. We had many fascinating conversations at Cannes Festival of Creativity this year, covering everything from the impact of AI to purpose-driven marketing. This one is another special chat. We caught up with Reilly, Chief Creative Officer of WPP, sharing his views on the future of creativity and why it's important to bring humor back into advertising. Listen in.
So hello, Rob.
Hello.
It's lovely to see you. You are in Cannes.
Yeah, I thank you for putting us on the beach, not in some room. So this is beautiful here.
We're going to zoom out a little bit. In your role overseeing this sort of mammoth organization and its creative output, when you look at the progression of work, say over the past few years, we know it's a great output, but tell me what, out of all the work that has come out recently, what is the direction that you think that it should go in? Like, does something exemplify that direction for you?
Well, two things. People talk about purpose-led work and maybe there's too much of it. There's not enough of it, in my opinion. Brands
so you don't think there's a saturation? You don't think that
brands have filled in where governments have not had the ability to help people because of money or other reasons. So brands have really stepped up and filled in. And why would we want to stop that? What I do think we need to figure out is how do we bring humor back into advertising? And that's something we've talked about with Cannes, we've talked about with other award shows, and maybe they need to create separate tracks for comedy and humor in advertising, because it is, if there's a category for it, magically you see more work that will be entered to it. So I think we need to make changes because we've lacked a bit of a sense of humor.
You think it's getting too serious?
What?
You think it's getting too serious?
Well, and not because that's what's winning awards. I don't want to blame purpose for the lack of humor. Mm-hmm. I think we just have shied away from it. We got a little too scared of how far we can push things. And India, a country that's made tremendous work with humor. Right. Australia, tremendous work. The United States, the
Thailand.
UK. But those four countries, you think about it, there's not a lot of funny work coming out of those countries. Mm-hmm. Yes, Thailand, thank God, is still our last hope for crazy work. So I'm hoping we see more of it, and I think we have to figure out how to bring more humor into advertising, but not at the expense of taking purpose out. I think it's really important that these brands continue to play that role in people's lives, and I think it's what young people look for too. They're okay with you making money, but you better be doing the right thing.
Absolutely. And I don't see why you can't have humor and purpose, right?
Of course.
I mean, it's just the creative device that you use at the end of the day.
I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah. But while we're speaking about creativity, and we are, of course, the topic and the point of every conversation right now is AI. Everyone's talking about AI, ChatGPT, Bard, the race for AI supremacy. Quickly, what are some of your top line thoughts on the conversations that are happening here and also back home?
Listen, we're deep into AI. We've been using it a lot. Obviously, it's been used.
There was a huge
in
announcement
media
recently.
Yeah, and now we're partnering with NVIDIA. Mm-hmm. So, and we've been investing in it, and we've got very smart people already working on things within our own organization and for our clients. So, it's not like we're jumping on it. It's happening. We're a big part of it. We're in the middle of it. Mm-hmm. For creative people, what has been lost is the ability to experiment and to try things and fail, because there's not enough time or money.
Right.
AI, I think, will help creative people experiment. Mm-hmm. And for art directors and for writers, I don't think it'll replace actually making brilliant work. But just like when digital photography was invented, just like when the computer was invented, these are tools that will hopefully make creative people better, faster, but it won't replace creative people, in my opinion. Mm-hmm.
Now, tell me if you agree with this statement or not.
Sure.
And it was said...
No.
So,
go ahead.
So I don't know if you know Nick Law, right? And
I had dinner with Nick Law last night, and Dave Droge and Phil
said,
Thomas and Colleen DeCourcy and Mark Darcy.
Right.
So we're all pals. Yeah, so I know Nick very well.
So he said something really interesting that I read. He said, mediocrity is now free.
I love that.
Yeah,
I agree 1,000%. That's my point. Anything's possible, but we're after excellence. Mm-hmm. So and I think you need that nuance that I think you get from life experiences, and I'm sure maybe it'll get more advanced. But hopefully, in my lifetime, people like the amazing creative people we have all over through WPP and that are here too, and other companies too.
Right.
There's so many amazing, brilliant people, and outside of ad agencies, inside of in-house agencies, and creators and musicians. Like, man, when you come here, you really feel that you are surrounded by brilliant creative minds that are brave. And yes, technology will be a tool that we continue to use. For us, our sweet spot has been creativity, human creativity, plus technology, plus human insights and humanity. So I feel like we're one of the better companies at nailing that trifecta, and the work shows.
Right. Give me a few examples, one or two examples of work, say maybe from the past year, that I mean, it might not be award-winning work even, but just something that has sort of struck you and
just in general.
Just
not necessarily about AI, just in general. Well, I think the work that AB InBev has done for Corona, with the help of David, our agency out of Ogilvy, where they help farmers grow limes for their beer. Corona, the experience of a Corona, it's night and day whether you have a lime or not.
Right.
China doesn't grow limes, or doesn't grow great limes. So we, the AB InBev helped teach the farmers how to grow limes, and now it's a product. The Corona Extra limes are sold in stores, and it's totally transformed what Corona means to people in China. So when we're doing those kinds of ideas in a country like China,
and that's purpose-driven, right?
It's purpose, but it's also profit-driven.
Yeah.
It's okay.
You're linking purpose and profits.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
why not?
it's genius. That when I saw that, I was like feeling good, because I think if we can bring creativity to a place like China, that's wildly creative, but in advertising it hasn't been as creative as maybe some other countries.
Yeah, maybe
I feel
it's
we're
functional. Maybe it's
we're on the right path.
It is time for a short break. On the other side, Havas India announced the launch of their global talent communications agency, Havas People in the country. We're catching up with Rupert, Grose global CEO, Havas People, and Rana, Barua, Group CEO of Havas Group India, on the other side of this break.
Peace of mind. It's what we seek in our adventures. But it's a lot easier to find when you have a Jeep SUV. Presenting Jeep Adventure Assured. To help you live the Jeep life worry-free.
CNBC-TV18 Digital India Vision 8.0 in partnership with Google Workspace. Coming soon.
Welcome back. This week, Havas India has announced the launch of the global talent communications agency, Havas People in the country. With this move, the network further strengthens its growing portfolio of specialized expertise. Now, a full-service employer branding agency, Havas People is headquartered out of London. Its work spans across every aspect of people agenda, from internal communications that drive employee engagement and performance through to employer brand positioning to attracting future talent. To tell us more about getting this specialized outfit to the country, the timing of it, and what is the need gap that it is filling, we are joined in by Rupert, Grose, Global CEO of Havas People, and Rana Barua, Group CEO of Havas Group India. Listen in. So you're talking to clients in India, and what is the kind of solution that they're looking for currently?
Well, our global clients have been talking to us for a number of weeks, months, years about, are you in India? Because we have talent challenges. We're looking for people in that market. So that's been a driver for us to be in India. I think from a market point of view in India, I think there is a growing economy that we feel is a ripe time for an organisation like us to be in the market to offer services around employer branding.
So, as Rupert said, global brands are inquiring whether you are in India. Rana, from you, I want to know, first of all, how many people will Havas People have in the country, and what is the kind of need gap that you're fulfilling with getting in this agency to the country?
So to begin with, naturally, we are going to keep it small because we are going to be working very closely with the UK agency because that's how we work. So Havas People will probably have around 4 to 5 people to begin with for the first 6 months because we've already kind of understood the kind of nature of scope of work that we'll be getting from some of the global clients. So we've kind of mapped it to that. But the entire support will come from the UK agency in terms of work, processes, systems, which is actually a much easier way of working because they are the experts, right? We are starting the journey here and we are not saying we understand the business as much as the UK agency understands. But why we are also going to follow this simple process is because what we realize is that, the need is naturally growing. And, every discussion we are having and every kind of article or press that you read is about growing economy, a lot of job openings, how do you manage the millennials, how do you manage the Gen Zs? Because India is the youngest economy in terms of people working. I'm talking about the fastest growing economy with the youngest population. And I think one of the biggest challenges that we are going to start facing, or if not, we've already started facing, is loyalty to organizations, engagement with people. How are you going to retain people? How are you going to ensure there is stability? These conversations are going to start. If not, like I said, if it's already begun, great. And this is the gap that we are going to fill in because if you're seeing a fast growing economy, there are the challenges that's starting to happen. And that's where Havas People steps in with the kind of solutions, and it's an end-to-end solution making.
So retaining people,
retaining, attracting, maintaining, engaging with them. Some of the best practices that's happening globally is something that we are going to start practicing in India.
Yeah, and if you can, on that note, you gave me a great segue. On that note, Rupert, if you can share with me, what are some of the trends that you are seeing globally in terms of talent retention and acquisition?
For us, it's very much about the employee experience of employees, where they work there. Does it actually match the promise that was made to them when they were actually looking to join the organisation at the start? That's one big thing. I think retention is big. So what are the factors that make people want to stay? What are the factors that make people want to leave as well? How can we engage with employees to make them really feel that this is the place for me to stay? I think you've got issues around talent and gaps in the market. So whilst some companies are losing talent, they're also finding it hard to fill certain types of roles, particularly around in the tech space. So data science, cybersecurity are two really good examples where our clients are coming to us and saying, where do we find these people? Because there just don't seem to be that many of them. So what we need to do, I guess, is to actually think, okay, why would those people want to come and work for this particular company? So how can we tell that story in an engaging way that this rare talent finds them? I think some other things that are also happening. Obviously, you've got artificial intelligence.
Yes.
What's that going to mean for the employment space? What's that going to mean for any organisation?
Yeah. And we have been discussing on the outside, how talent is a big issue, but it is a big issue even within the agency ecosystem, within the agency setup. Rana, what can be done?
So I think one of the big things is what we understand is the lacuna of communication. So even for example, advertising and media, and I think being part of Ad Club and 3 Years of I and all, I think one of the big things we recognize is that are we communicating well? We know if you just look at the opportunities that in industry we offer, I don't think it's coming out. So I think we need to take cognizance of the fact is that we are still behaving in a way that as if the world outside knows what we do.
Sure.
Oh, we've got so I'll just give you my example. I think, okay, I have 16, 17 odd companies. Does talent really know that I have so many companies and opportunities and expertise? Maybe I need to sit with Rupert and discuss a communication strategy for myself because I'm very happy with what we have built and our people are very happy. You've been in our office, you feel the excitement. Does talent really know there's something called market? Does talent really know there's something called Havas Play? Does talent know there's Havas People? Can you imagine the number of opportunities that's opening? I think we need to also communicate in a very systematic and professional basis about the kind of opportunities that we are opening up.
As an industry.
As an industry, and I'm talking about as an industry for all the groups.
Yeah.
Imagine, we hire so many people. If you look at the entire industry, there's so many people. we need to also go out and, kind of say that, guess what, you can come and work with us because we also have a content division. How many people know that Havas has a content division and so many of them? So I think the big lacuna is this structured conversation that we need to have to attract talent.
With that, it's a wrap on Storyboard this week. You can catch all of our content on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. Thanks for watching. We will be back same time next week. See you soon.